Alright, so in today's video, I want to talk about Ubisoft's top issues post that they came out with, and I want to talk about this down here, mouse and keyboards on console, and I want to talk about the future of what I truly think is going to happen, and how they're going to fix it, or if they're going to fix it, or what's going to happen. If you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I'll love you. And also, make sure you drop a sub. We're on the grind to 40k, and leave a like. But let's get into this. Alright, so there's a lot going on with mouse and keyboard on console, and this has obviously been an issue for a very long time, and I wanted to just generally make a video talking about it, because I feel like a lot of people have been asking me what I think, and I want to just say what I really think is going to happen with this mouse and keyboard on console. Now, they had wound up making a post, like I said, and it says, you see it on the screen right here, I'll make it bigger for you. Our dedicated team continues to work on this project, evaluating and testing solutions to move forward with. It's important to us that using spoofers do not provide an advantage for players, creating a level playing field for all. At the same time, we don't want to exclude players who need this from an accessibility standpoint. It's crucial that we take the right approach for our players, and we'll be sharing more information once we're confident with our solution. Status ongoing. Now, for those of you who keep up to date with Ubisoft and their top issues and community concerns, I don't know if I could see more of them, but essentially, they've had this has been a thing that's been going on for so long. Every single time they have a top issues and community concerns, it is always mouse and keyboard with this same message, and it never changes. It never ever changes. Like, I wish I knew if there was something like that we could do, but I want to just talk about what I think is gonna happen. Alright, so the couple things I want to talk about, but literally in all of these, like, see, I typed in Rainbow Six Game top issues. These have all had the MnK, talking about MnK, talking about all this stuff, like, see, like, for console. So I generally want to talk about how, like, this has been an issue for a while, and it is not being fixed. But what I want to talk about is what I think they're going to do now, as well as the stuff with the FOV sliders for consoles, and how it's going to be better. So first, I want to talk about, the FOV sliders for consoles, and then I'm going to get into the solution of what I think is going to happen with mouse and keyboard on console, and how they're going to fix it, or if they're going to. So, a lot of people have been talking to me about FOV sliders, and they've been saying, okay, well, FOV sliders is good for controller, but the problem is that now, you know, people in MnK are going to have 90 FOV, and they're going to be better. Now, to an extent, yes, this is going to be true. The MnK players will be better. But, coming from someone who has literally played controller PC and has used 85 FOV, 90 FOV. I did a video a while ago on my channel, probably like 2 years ago, where I just showed the comparison side by side of what it looks like when you shoot with 90 FOV and 60 FOV, and it is completely different, and the aim on controller, in my opinion, on PC was way better when I did play on higher FOV. So what I'm saying is that I think that the FOV sliders for console is going to be very good for the controller players, as it is going to be easier to compete with the MnK players in terms of aim. I think FOV does increase aim in the way of it helps you just move around and makes everything just feel a lot smoother. When you're zoomed in, your aim just feels way more all over the place, and it is brutal. Granted, on PC, I did have a different aspect ratio, but it was 16:10 instead of 16:9, so it was very similar. I'll probably throw it up on screen so you can see what I'm talking about when I did a side-by-side comparison. In my opinion, I do feel like FOV sliders are going to help controller players out a ton. Even if it does help MnK players out, I think it will help controller players out more, because they'll be able to aim better. To whereas a mouse and keyboard, you're always going to have good aim. So I think this is something very good for controller players, but they still are talking about, you know, all this stuff down here about mouse and keyboard, and it is crap. Let me explain. Okay, when it comes to a solution, we have to look at what the problem is. Okay, when you look at the third-party software, the Zim, right, it is very hard to counter this. Now, a lot of people were coming up with solutions saying, okay, just make, you know, enable MnK on console, but make controller lobbies and make MnK lobbies. And the problem with that is that there's so many people that already have Zims that they would just go and use a Zim, and then it would put them in a controller lobby. So that cannot happen. Which I want you guys to comment down below your solutions of how you think this could be fixed, because I think we just need to, I think someone needs to make a video on it, and even, like, hopefully Ubisoft will eventually see it and just talk about it and see what people think. But personally, at this point, it's not really in Ubisoft's hands. Okay, let's look at PS5, the whole PS5 situation. For those who don't know, PS5 Zim is not really possible. Yes, there's other ways to work around it, but it's not nearly as good, which is why you see a ton of PS5 players now on Xbox, which is why I am able to make these PS5 versus Xbox series, is because a lot of the people have switched over to Xbox because of Zims. And not all the people that switched over are Zims, but a lot of people's friends are Zims, a lot of people's friends are switching over, so then they come over. So that's what's been happening. But the way PS5 did it was it wasn't Ubisoft. PS5 made it so that way you can only use the specific controller, like the PS5 controller. You cannot plug in anything else. And sure, that's maybe Xbox can do that, but that would then have to cause everyone else who has Xbox to, or the new Xbox, to have to use a specific controller, which would take away from people like me who use an Elite controller, or they'd have to give everyone an Elite controller, or to where with PS5 you have to use a specific, controller output. Like, you could still use Zim on PS4, but you're on 60 frames, but on PS5 you have to use 120. Now, when it comes to Xbox, I don't know what they can do specifically. Like I said, with Ubisoft, it's very hard for them because they can't really fix it themselves. There's nothing that they can do that will completely ban it, because the Zim will then just update their software and then just, it'll be working again. Oh, another quick little interruption real quick, but be sure to use code Penguin on your G Fuel and save 10% off, sometimes 30. Don't forget, use code Penguin on your G Fuel. You can have this huge, amazing tower in the back, but let's get back into this. This is a very challenging issue for them. Personally, this is what I think. I think that they need to have someone to do manual bans. Now, generally speaking, I don't think that it will, completely stop it, but I think it will definitely scare some people. Like, for example, there's actual streamers who I'm not going to name who literally stream themselves playing with a face cam that are on MnK. You can hear the clicking, you can see the swiping. They need to just do some manual bans, and I think that will dwindle down some of them and scare some people off, but that won't fix the issue. That will just take out the top people who stream mouse and keyboard, which I think is just so insane that people do that. But, I don't know exactly what they can do that would really help it completely. Another thing with manual bans is you can literally go here, type in Zim R6 settings, bro. There is a ton of YouTube videos of people literally showing themselves cheating. Like, a ton. Like, all these people. Like, bro, best Zim Apex sensitivity and clutch against champs. Like, ban these people, bro. Just ban them. They show their gamer tag. Just ban them. Manually ban. I get it won't completely fix it, but you'll get these videos off of here. You'll get these people that have all these great accounts, and, they'll stop using Zim on that account. They'll get banned. What would that do? That will cause them to have to completely, hopefully, not even play the game anymore. But that's not what we want. We obviously want the most amount of people to play the game, but I just think that if you kind of start to scare people, it could definitely help with the streaming stuff and, kind of making it normal in that aspect, as well as especially with the faces stuff. They should honestly make it to where you have to maybe even go into a Discord and have a hand cam, or have a camera on you at all times if you want to play. Something to make the at least competitive scene in this game better. Just something at all. I don't know exactly what they can do. And when it comes to actual ranked, I think they, some people are telling me, okay, just make MnK compatible and do that. And yes, and this was another solution that people had. They said give aim assist to controller and make MnK compatible on, console. Now that would be fine, but the problem once again is that we have everyone who has a Zim, so then you'd be giving aim assist to people on mouse and keyboard. So that's another issue that we cannot do. So these solutions that we have are just very, very hard, and I want to know, like I said, what you guys think. What do you actually think that Ubisoft can do? Because once again, it is not in their hands in the aspect of it is very hard for them to actually ban mouse and keyboard on console. It's an Xbox issue. They need to make it so that way you can't use it. But the problem is that MnK is allowed on other games. MnK is allowed on games like Fortnite, games like Apex, games like all this other stuff that it's allowed. I think Halo as well. It's allowed. So Siege is the only game that it's not allowed on. You're allowed to use it on Call of Duty. There's actual inputs in the game for it. So you can't. So Xbox almost can't really ban Zim themselves because MnK is allowed on those other games. It's not really looked at as cheating on certain games. This is my only little solution that I have in my head that I think that they can do, or they should do. I don't know if it's possible to do, or I don't know if it's an Xbox thing. But I don't know if Siege can detect when you plug something in. Meaning, whether or not you're plugging in a controller or plugging in anything, I don't know if Siege can detect it. So what I mean by that is, for example, right, if I go and play Call of Duty, when I plug in a controller, it then says controller, or if I plug in a mouse and keyboard, and then I plug in a controller, it will say switch back to mouse and keyboard, or switch back to controller, when you choose that input, or when that input is detected in there. And I don't think that that is a PC thing. I think that's from Call of Duty, from the game themselves. So this is the way I look at it. I think the only way Siege can do this is if they can somehow detect when you plug in any type of software, whether or not it's my controller that has a wire like this, whether or not it's that, which they'll have to take away the feature of plugging in something, or anything like that. I think what they need to do is make it completely wireless, or find a way to, anytime anything is detected, anytime you plug in anything, it will detect it, and then it will not allow you to play. So yes, that would hinder some controller players in a way, but that would take I would rather have that and have to charge my controller before I go and play Siege, or, you know, I don't have batteries because I have an Elite controller, so the battery pack's in here and I have to charge it. But I think that's the only solution to this. That is the true solution that I think will fix Zim if they can do this. And I think they can. Like I said, it's mainly an Xbox thing. But I do think, like, kind of how in Call of Duty, like I mentioned, or in Apex, it will detect whether or not you're playing a controller or not. On PC, I don't know how that works on Xbox, but I know on PC that when you plug a controller in, or if I plug in a mouse and keyboard, it will then say to switch to that. Now, as I mentioned earlier about the competitive scene, I think that if you want to bring console competitive back, I think what they need to do is make everyone use a hand cam. Make everyone use a face cam. Or, you know, a hand cam, rather. For example, now, you don't have to stream, but I'm saying, like, for example, let's say you want to play and Face It. The only way you can play and Face It is if you have a webcam of any kind and a computer, or a laptop that you could join a Discord on, or your phone. Join a Discord, go into a call with your team, make it a server, and make it so everyone has to have a camera on them at some point. You don't even need a computer. You could go on your fucking phone, and you can go on the Discord app, and turn the camera on, and make it on your controller. I truly think that, yes, it would be a hassle, but I think that's the only way that you bring back competitive console Siege, and you take away the whole Zim in comp, is you have a hand cam on someone the entire time. It would make it much harder. That's just what I think should be implemented, and it'll be more of a pain, but it will actually bring back competitive controller Siege on console. Because I think ranked is much harder to tackle, but I do think the competitive scene is something that is huge in console, and a lot of people do like to watch every Sunday, or a lot of Jinxie's tournaments that he does, and I think the way you do that is get rid of that. Overall, I want you guys to let me know what you think once again. Hopefully Ubisoft does come out with something that really just, like, it's something like a nail in the head, or in the hammer, whatever the saying is, just nail in the coffin. That's what it is. That's what I was looking for. Hopefully there's something that can just bury these MnK players down and they can get rid of it. Truthfully, I don't know what it is going to be. Maybe there's something on their side they can do, but we can only wait to find out. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Be sure to comment down below. I just want to make this video, just to really talk about this and get the conversation going and hear what other people have to say on what they think the solutions can really be. So be sure to comment it down below. I would love to hear it, but I will see y'all. Have an amazing day. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. Peace.